WRKC, Radio King's College in Wilkes-Barre. I am on right now with Millie, lead singer of the band Steelheart. Welcome to the show, Millie.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you.
Okay, now I wanted to start off with the first question here, since this is our first interview, and that is Steelheart's last studio CD was the import-only Wait from the mid-90s. Now, other than the Rockstar soundtrack, what have you been doing for the past 15 years or so?
Oh, man, just trying to rebuild a ship, you know?
Yep.
Ever since, I don't know if you're familiar, but ever since my accident in 92, after the second album, it has just been, how would I say, one step forward and 6 steps back.
Wow.
You know, getting back in a saddle. So I've been working my butt off, always writing material, you know, and it's just been crazy, just getting back into the game. And now it's finally, I'm finally, how would I say, on the horse. And now we're ready to ride that bitch. Excuse my language.
Yeah, it's okay. As long as you don't say the 7 words that Carlin said you can't stay on TV, let me
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Now, speaking of that injury, Millie, what kind of obstacles did you have to deal with, and how deep was the impact on your life? Because that must have been a hell of a hole you had to crawl yourself out of.
Well, I mean, I went from, well, put it this way, I went from, you know, being a rock star to sleeping on floors. I mean, it was crazy, overnight. It, you know, it's like when I got back home, I ended up in bed for a really long time because my brain swelled and the pain was just excruciating. So after that, I started losing some memory, you know, started getting fuzzy, and I had to just rebuild myself. I mean, it was just, I mean, it was a big job, I'll be honest with you, too.
Wow.
Yeah, get through all of that. But, you know, I think it's definitely made me stronger and made me a better man on a whole nother, you know, whole nother level. So I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
Excellent. Now, one thing I read, Millie, as I was going through your bio, it was around the time that you were mixing the Wait CD. Now, could you describe what happened when your memory just kind of clicked back on and you knew that you were fully recovered?
Yeah, it was really bizarre because it was like something came through me, you know, almost like I don't know, a rush, whether it was me making it, I don't know, you know, but it was really, but it stood me on my feet. And I stood up and I just looked at Kit, who was the producer at the time, and I said, he asked me, hey, what's wrong? What's going on? And I said, you know what? I just woke up. He's like, wow, I just woke up. I'm alive.
Wow.
I'm here. I'm back. I'm here again. Because I was like in and out, you know, like 2 different worlds, I guess, or just fuzzy and not coherent, and it was a good feeling at that moment where I started, you know, seeing the clarity and being able to be, all right, this is what I got to do. I got to focus on this, focus more, harder, focus. So, and that's all I've been doing. And so it seems to be, you know, paying off right now.
Now, Millie, what was the creative process like with writing the songs for the new Steelheart CD, which is called Good to Be Alive?
Well, you know, it's just, you know, just emotions. Everything I've been through, everything I live, I write music from what I feel and what I see and what I experience, you know. And it was truly, this record is, I would say, action-packed, fully emotional and powerful, and all the above. Everything that, it's my soul. That's what, you know, and it's from the heart. So that was basically the process. And sometimes, you know, sometimes I'd be sitting in the studio, just nothing coming through. So I would you do nothing. You just hang out and you wait till, you know, till they speak to you, so to speak, the way I look at it, you know.
Now, I see, Millie, you played a lot of guitar parts on the new CD now. Were you always a guitarist, or was this something that you picked up more recently?
Well, I always played guitar. That's the way I wrote most of the songs, guitar and piano. But this last one, you know, is really bizarre because I try to put different guitar players together and bring them in, and they just they didn't play the way I play. You know, that there's another feel to it. You know, so and on top of it, just getting them to the studio was like, for some reason, it just never worked out right. You know, it just didn't really flow. So I was like, you know, well, if it's not flowing, there must be a reason. So I cut it, strapped on a guitar, and boom, I just played it. I just, you know, nailed it, and it came out exactly the way I, you know, envisioned it. So now from this moment on, I'll be playing probably most of the guitars on all the records.
Now, Millie, was there any interest in getting some of the guys back from the original lineup from the band's days with MCA Records?
Not really. I really wanted to just move on, to be honest with you. Move on, just change the channel, different things, different players, different textures. And but for a live thing, I did bring Chris back in, the original guitar player.
Oh, very cool.
And yeah, he's been touring with me on several shows, and we'll be going out again in September, October, November, and he'll be with me.
Now, on a sad note, Millie, was the death of your former drummer John Fowler a shock, or were there warning signs that were spotted earlier?
I'll be honest with you, between us and whoever's listening, I had a really interesting conversation with Johnny, about a year and a half ago. I live in Charlottesville, Virginia. I just kind of disappeared here so I can rebuild and refocus, not be in L.A. where everything's just mayhem and all that stuff. And he was living in Connecticut, New York, performing, touring, and with like 4 different bands, always, working hard and taking care of his son. And I did mention to him, I said, hey, you got to get out of this rat race because this is stressful. This is awful, And I did invite him a couple of times to just get out of Dodge. And every time I saw him, he was stressing. I mean, it was a tough life. He was taking care of raising his son and in 5 different bands, and sad. I don't even know what to say. I mean, when he passed away, I felt him so hard that I was in a studio and I had to leave. I went home. I didn't even know why. I was like feeling this crazy emotion, this pain, I don't know what it was. And then I got a phone call and said, hey, John's just passed away. And I was like, oh,
wow.
Well, there it is. I mean, that's what it is right there. It is, I mean, it's difficult to even talk about, so.
Now, Millie, how long did it take to find the right guys for your new lineup?
It just takes forever. You know what I mean? It just takes forever, and it's like, it kind of formed itself. I met Rev a long time ago, actually, the bass player. I met him when I was in Los Angeles, and I wanted to just put a band together, and I answered an ad in the paper because it just sounded like, hey, these guys sound like they're cool. So I went and saw them. I didn't like the band, but I liked him, So I just kept a mental note, and I said, hey, I'm going to grab this guy when it's time. And the other guitar player, Urosh, I met him, believe it or not, he just emailed me through the internet, or my lawyer.
Wow.
And he goes, hey, Millie, and he's what's crazy, he's Serbian, and I'm Croatian.
That's unique, wow.
Right, how bizarre is that? That crazy war, it's just bizarre. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll take it as a sign. Let's see what happens here. Let's bring this guy in here. And he just said, hey, Millie, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. And sure, he's awesome. I mean, he's a very talented player. He's awesome, great solos, great vibe. That worked out. Mike, the drummer, I met a friend of mine here in town at a studio, and he said, hey, I know a drummer. He came in and did a session down here, and he was just awesome. You should just, maybe use him for demos or whatever. Well, he came down. I brought him down from Philadelphia. He came down and he played a couple of songs on the demos. I was like, this guy's awesome. So you're a keeper. You're done. You're staying with me. So, and that's how that formed. And then when we started touring, I called Chris. I said, Chris, what are you doing? Let's go. Get out of that studio and your thing at your house and come with me and start jamming. So, and that's how it all came together.